And hello, movie lovers. So tonight we're actually going to be doing our Wakanda Forever spoiler discussion. So if you guys haven't seen Black Panther Wakanda Forever, then what are you doing watching or listening to this episode? Go on ahead, follow back later on and listen to this episode where you guys get your podcast from. I have Alex with me, I have Charlie with me. I also have some guests dropping in. I have Josh coming in probably, and I also got Tomeka coming in. So without further ado, let's go on ahead. Let's get on with the show. All right. How you doing, Alex?
That I want to headbang so badly, but my brain doesn't handle that well. It's just like, what the heck are you doing, Alex? Like, don't why?
Well, I've seen your TikTok video of you headbanging before. It just does not work. So,
Never works out for me.
But how's everyone doing tonight?
Fine.
It's good. So that's great. So, anyways, we're here to talk about Wakanda Forever. I think that this is probably the most saddest opening that we ever had in a Marvel movie, where it opens up on a sad note, but also opens up in an action-packed kind of way of Sherry trying to save her brother and stuff like that. And it's kind of like the audience is like trying to save Chadwick Boseman as well from his cancer in a sense, and Sherry's trying to save him for us. And it was just heartbreaking to be able to know that even with all of the technology that she has, she couldn't save her brother, and she has a little bit of that not shame, but just that guilt of not being able to save her brother, and that just broke my heart knowing that she lost her brother and on trying to save him. And then you get into this Marvel logo, and the Marvel logo to me, I don't know for Alex, I don't know for Charlie, but when you have that moment of silence there felt like a moment of silence for mourning over Chadwick for a few minutes. But I'm gonna let everybody else go into their opening and tell me what they think about that, though.
Yeah, absolutely. That beginning was hard to watch. It just brought me back to when I first heard the news that Chadwick Boseman passed away, and I think I was just in this room. I was watching something, and I just saw the news pop up on my phone, and I just started crying. And it was the same thing watching the beginning of this movie. It was like I was just reliving that hurt again, and then I've seen the Marvel Studios credits with nothing but Chadwick Boseman before, and definitely with the silence, it was next level. Like, definitely a moment of silence for him. I thought that was a really beautiful touch, and just the way the movie uses silence later on in the movie was equally as incredible. But we'll get into it. It was a very powerful opening. It really set the tone for what the movie was gonna feel throughout.
Yeah, I agree. I liked the opening was definitely intense, and I liked how they tied it in. It wasn't just they killed him off for the sake of killing him off. Oh, he just died while on a mission. They actually brought it to the illness that he died from an illness, and Shuri couldn't save him. So they did the best way to write off the character. Or write off Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa. They did that in the best way. They could have done, if it was any other director, they probably would have done, yeah, he just died on a mission, like just died off screen, and he still died off screen in this one. But I think they tied it into real events, which actually it made the introduction like really intense.
Yeah,
for sure, because it felt like his presence was still there, even though his presence wasn't there. But it just felt like they're paying their respects to Chadwick and showing the passing of T'Challa and showing what this kingdom is going through without their king. And then you also get into the other part where you actually have the government trying to steal the vibranium from them, and the queen comes in there and like, oh, you think that we're coming in with our guard down? We're not. We're fully aware of what you're trying to do, but the way you're trying to do it is wrong. And you think because we lost our king, we are weak. We are not weak. We're here to show you that we have dominance over you. And I really like how she hits that on the head, and she delivers that speech and I like how it goes into that other scene where you actually have the army trying to break into their facilities to steal the vibranium. And knowing that she's over there and she's fully aware. I like how she's self-aware of the fact and she's not blind to it that they're going to try and steal the vibranium while she's there, because it actually shows, okay, well, she's over here, so there's no way that her guards or anybody else can go ahead and protect the vibranium. So therefore, we can go in there and go take charge of this. No, she gets her number one point guard to go ahead and guard the vibranium, which I thought was really fantastic.
Oh, that was a cool scene. I was just like, when they just showed the mercenaries walking in that base, I'm like, uh-oh, they're gonna die. Like, oh yeah, they're holding these scientists hostage, but not for long, just any minute now. And then Okoye and the rest of the warriors came out. That was a cool scene. But Angela Bassett, in that UN scene, and then later on, just throwing her heart and soul into her performance. Like, she truly felt like a queen. And that was such an epic moment when her guards come busting in with the French mercenaries, and I'm like, yes, show them who's boss. We are not weak, even without our king. That was so great. I loved that part.
Yeah, that was a cool scene. Again, like the action, that was a really cool scene, and then the fact that they can speak French, and they did is just like huge drop the mic moment to Prince, like, oh yeah, these are your people, and everybody's like, their eyes lit up. I'm like, yeah, like, don't mess with Angela Bassett. She's right up there with The Consequence, and that's Viola Davis. Like, if they switch roles, it would have been the same performance, because if Angela Bassett was Amanda Waller and Viola Davis was the queen, like, it'd be the same performance. Like, just drop the mic, like, not take shit from anybody, especially the government. And I like this too, because this whole idea about the vibranium. This war is not over. And that's what I liked, how it sets up for future movies and all the future movies coming up, like Thunderbolts, Armor Wars, all this. It's setting up these
Young Avengers,
yeah, it's going to set up these next thing all about the vibranium, and we'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, I just liked how it's like it sets the stuff up. So,
hey, Tomeka.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
Hello.
Hey.
No, it's okay. It's perfectly fine.
Cool.
We're just talking about the vibranium and about yeah. Okay. So I definitely agree with what you guys were saying, though. Basically, when Angela Bassett is actually on the camera, she owns the screen. Then Charlie's dropped in with the fact that, you have that whole entire setup for the vibranium, which is perfect for the way that they are actually going to go into it with the next movie, with the next stuff, with Armor Wars. Then you also have Young Avengers. You have all this other stuff going on. So I definitely like how they closed this chapter. And now they're going with another aspect of where they're going to be heading to for this universe. But we also talked about the Chadwick Boseman, about how quiet moment of silence for Chadwick Boseman, and things like that too, and about how they did everything with that. But from your perspective, what did you think of the opening? And of course, seeing Angela Bassett be the queen that she is, and basically showing that she dominance over the whole entire government.
Oh yeah, the opening was like I saw previews of it, right? So I was preparing myself, but I don't feel like I was ready, And then it was, especially when they did the Marvel scene, where it's like all the scenes of Chadwick in the Marvel letters, and it was really quiet. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, what is happening to my soul? But like I said, I felt that was really good to just pay tribute to him in the beginning so that you can move forward with the story. Angela Bassett, she really drew me in because she's a great actress anyway. I guess for me overall, I personally did not think the actress that played Shuri could carry the role. Like for me, I was more drawn to like Angela and then Nemor and Daenerys, whatever her last name is. I was more drawn to them because they had like these strong personalities. Like their acting was really strong, and then I felt compared to the actress who played Shuri, it didn't really compare to me. Like my eyes were more drawn to can you resurrect Angela Bassett so that I could feel again because this girl is not giving me what I want. And then I had problems with Riri too. But I don't but anyway, that's all I'll say.
Yeah, I honestly really enjoyed
By
Letitia Wright's
Letitia,
character.
right, yeah.
I thought for she had a lot thrown on her plate from just going from side character to okay, now you're the lead character, you got to bring it. I I thought she did incredible. She probably the second best performance in the movie behind Angela Bassett. I just in terms of showing just that grief cycle this through the whole movie. Like I thought it was beautifully performed. I thought I thought she earned it. I really thought I felt for her. I didn't think I would care for her as much as I did. I was like, because usually with side characters, and now all of a sudden they're the leads. They still write them as side characters, and they become more annoying. But with Letitia Wright with Shuri, they did a great job of like really just showing just her maturing into this lead role, into being the hero that Wakanda needs them to be. I thought it was fantastic. One of the many things that brought me to tears. I cry easily, but yeah, definitely her
What
performance.
you?
Now
You
that
sound
you
like a
brought that
tough
up,
guy.
Tamika, I kind of agree. I kind of don't think like since I've seen it a week later and it digests and everything. I found her annoying a lot of times. Like she was just like I get it. Like she had a lot on her plate, but I don't think she's hero material. To be honest, I think it was just here, put in the suit. We need you to defend it, and then because she didn't do the ceremony at the end, because that was like that was the show. I don't know. I don't think she. I think they. I was like, I don't think she's ready for the main character yet. That's just it. Just I kind of agree with that. I mean, I get it. She had a lot on her plate and stuff. I don't know. I just don't see that because I don't think like, yeah. I don't see that. I'm interested. Maybe interested to see how this goes. I don't know. I just like come to think of it. I don't see. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think they need to bring Angela Bassett back because her track record with sequels, like if she's in a sequel, they're just gonna kill her character off. And I've seen quite a bit of sequels of Angela Bassett, and for her, it's not her fault. Like London Has Fallen, boom, right off the bat. I'm like, okay, just keep her away from sequels. Do original movies, and just don't call it don't have it a sequel, and then she can live. Like, so I don't know. I kind of agree with you on that, Tamika. I just don't think Shuri was. I think she was kind of just like, here you go, and I think she didn't really officially earn it. Per se.
Yeah, like I
See,
said.
I'm
Yeah, go ahead, John.
yeah, I'm with Alex though on it though because I mean I teared up in that theater. Like I cried like a little baby because I felt like that pain and emotion that was there with her, and I felt like that she earned that right to the throne. But then here's the thing though. Some people don't follow the traditions of their parents and the way they want to do things. So it's a new age and a new dawn of her. So therefore, what might be right for that one family may not be right for her. So therefore, she might not follow in with the traditions the way that her family does things. That doesn't mean that she's right or wrong. It's just that this is a new age, a new dawn has come to where now she has to take over this whole entire thing. And she had a lot going on. She lost her brother. Then Namor comes in, kills her mother right in front of her. So everyone that's close by is dying in front of her to the point where it's like, I gotta do something instead of nothing. And I feel like when she puts on that Black Panther outfit, and then of course when she sees Killmonger, which I'm happy to see Michael B. Jordan back as Killmonger, because I you know what, I started thinking, I'm like, this villain actually makes sense. As you know what I mean, like you hear the villains talk and you're like, okay, I definitely agree with him because of the fact T'Challa was a nice person. He was really one of those people that, you know, tried to unite kingdoms and try to do that. And Killmonger was basically the one who was just trying to take the right and try to take charge. And there is a time that you can be doing what T'Challa does, but there's a time that you have to take charge to strike down your enemies before anything too. So it goes hand in hand on both sides. Neither one of us wrong. It's just that it's how you do things. And I think that Cherry did earn that right. To me, she did. But that's just my opinion, though. But you know, every single time I saw her cry, I was crying. Every single time when she went through the pain and the emotions of the fact that of that guilt of her father, not her father, but of her brother dying, and then her mother dying, and knowing that she couldn't do anything about it because Namor was there, just broke my heart even more because of the fact that she was defenseless to the point where it's like, who do I rely on now for advice? That's just how I looked at it.
Well, she did
What about
have
you
a
guys?
choice. She decided to get taken. If she didn't get taken and then didn't have the whole Namor scene, Angela Bassett's character might still be alive. But then again, I'll get into that whole water sequence later on. But I don't know. She did have a choice. I mean, and it's like with great power comes great responsibility, and well, she did have a choice, and she just chose wrong, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think she. Sorry, Alice. I think she is a great actress. Like I think she's a good actress. You know, I just didn't
Mm.
feel like her taking on the mantle drew me enough. You know, like a Chadwick or Angela. And Chadwick is he's seasoned. He was seasoned, but he wasn't around too long. You know, in the movies. I don't know when he first started his first film, but I know she's an up and coming.
Civil War.
That was his first official movie.
Oh, you.
And I
Oh,
think
Yeah.
Chadwick in
oh, okay,
general.
okay. I was thinking of T'Challa's first appearance. Sorry.
Oh no, just Chadwick in general, like his first
Let
film.
me look.
Oh, okay. My
Yeah,
bad.
I know she's an up and coming actress, and she is
But
getting seasoned. But for me, it just didn't draw me in to care about her as much as uh, the guy that played Namor or Denai and everyone else. Go ahead, Alex. Sorry about that.
Oh, I was just gonna bring up the Killmonger scene. That was one scene I especially loved because I felt like that made so much sense that Killmonger would be the one that she sees because just going back to her whole grieving process, she's still just really angry, like not just at the world but at herself. She feels like she failed her brother. Uh she 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 just failed her mom. So I thought it was so cool when she finally created the heart-shaped herb and took it and saw Killmonger. I'm like, of course that's who she sees. That's where her state of mind is. She's feeling all this hate and anger, and like it made sense for me that she wanted to go out and attack. Think how do they pronounce it in the movie? They kind of go back and forth. Namor pronounces it as Namor,
Mm.
which I liked, but like everyone else is just like, we'll call you Namor because that's what they call you in the comics. but
Uh,
but like either way, like I'm fine with how you pronounce it, but I'll just call him Namor. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. And I felt like her not earning the mantle. I think that was something that was part of her character. Like she doesn't feel like she really earned it, but she's still taking it up because that's her responsibility as the last in this royal family, which is why she didn't fight to be queen of Wakanda at the end of the movie. She wants to forge her own path, and I thought she was cool. I thought she was hella cool. But I also
Okay, so
really enjoyed. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, John. Sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
no. Go on ahead, Alex. Go on ahead. I'll talk about something else.
I was just gonna say, it's like speaking of Namor, I thought he was really cool. Like I don't think he was as good as Killmonger. They had kind of like the same vibe, but I still thought he was a nice addition to the MCU. What do you guys think?
Okay, that's where I was going to get at. So I'm glad that you put us in that position too. So here's the thing. I love Namor. Namor to me was the most threatening villain that you can actually get, aside from Killmonger, within the Wakanda Black Panther movie itself. And I felt really threatened with Namor because of the fact that in his eyes, he's thinking that he's doing something right, even though it's something wrong. And they're both defending kingdoms. If you think about it, you have the Wakandans who's trying to defend their vibranium, and then you also have, of course, Namor's people who's trying to defend their vibranium. So therefore, they have a common enemy. So it makes sense for them to try and team up to go against the government. So I thought the plot motivation actually makes sense because you have a common enemy, but Sherry and Angela, and also too Angela Bassett's character, just because we have a common enemy does not mean that we have similarities either. Because the way you're going about it is that nobody loves you. You were given up at an age where your mother died. You lived underwater. Your people were also, now this is another thing though too that I really liked was because it shows Namor's people also being enslaved, which is also a representation of the Wakandans and stuff like that, in a sense, with people of color being enslaved to a system, to where they were, to how society was at one time, and then how Namor went on ahead and basically got rid of them, and helped his people out. So I thought that you also have representation of that in the history, and where he actually has similarities to where he said, "Hey, look, I can relate to you because I was one of you at one time." In a sense. So I thought that was really good. I thought that he was a threat. I also thought even the people that are serving Namor was also a threat, especially whenever you have that trance part where basically you have people jumping overboard. And I'm like, that was, it had a horror element into this film, and I really loved it. I really loved what they did there. So I'm gonna open up the floor to you guys though about some of the other stuff too.
Oh, the siren scene. Yeah, that was pretty good. I like the mix that Marvel puts in with mythology. And we saw it with oh God, I can't believe it just escaped me. You know what I'm talking about. The oh gosh, Moon Knight. Thank you. Thanks, Tamika. Yeah, we saw it with Moon Knight. The mythology that they weave in. And they also weave in a little bit of Mayan mythology too with Nemor or Namor. Oh, I'm just gonna do both. Um, so yeah, I think that was pretty cool. I like Namor's character. Um, I just didn't feel like I connected with like sometimes you have a villain where you're kind of on their side. Like I was looking like somebody needs to take this guy down, but I do enjoy him in those shorts. That was my feeling. I felt a lot of emotions with him in those shorts. And I was like, somebody need to take him down, but don't hurt him too bad.
I felt emotion in those shorts. Yes.
I need to see him in those shorts some more. So don't hurt him too badly. And that's all I say because that's the female perspective, I guess.
I liked the.
But we were just talking about the jock itch earlier.
I liked the first appearance of the crew because, like, of the of his people about that whole crane sequence. That was intense. Then it progressed, and I just got kind of tired of them, to be honest. Like, I didn't really get the whole origin story of it. A lot of it didn't make sense, and to me, and honestly, like, the motivation just didn't really sell me. Like, yeah, we have vibranium too. Like, I don't know. I just didn't get that part. And then when everybody turned blue in the origin story, I thought I was watching Marvel's version of the Smurfs.
Or
And again,
Avatar.
and that one just kind of like
Yeah.
took me out of it. And pretty much during the trailers, I practically called him Marvel's version of Aquaman. But now in retrospect, Aquaman would kick his ass and steal his lunch money. Like I just
I don't know.
I don't know. I
don't know.
He like, so what? You can fly. Like, oh,
Mm-mm.
what? Oh, all you got to do is just rip off the back of his heels, and he can't fly anymore. I don't know. It's just
And dehydrate him.
yeah. Well, yeah. Aquaman's the superior one because he's both on land and sea. He can live on both worlds. Like either way, I just didn't really just didn't do anything for me. And he was just a villain. It was there. He was like, he's kind of a villain, kind of isn't. Then he kind of will be because he's gonna backstab him. It's also a lot of politics. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna use the Wakandans because they trust us. Then we're gonna go do our plan. I'm like, okay, it's not that you don't really seem to be in control anymore. And it's just like, I don't know, it just didn't really work for me. Like I like Killmonger. I think Killmonger was the out of the last first these two, Killmonger is the better villain. Like in both of these Black Panther movies. But I don't know what else Namor is going to do. Like he might just be on the TV. I don't think we'll see him any more movies. I don't know. It's just to me, it just didn't work. I mean, I love the first part of it, the opening sequence where he first met them and the sirens. That was scary. And then the rest of it happened. I'm like, oh, okay, they're just there. And then again, I'll get into more of it once we get past that. But I do want to mention that bridge sequence, that fight sequence on the bridge. Mm-hmm. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, with Okoye and Atuma.
Yeah, that whole fight when they're trying to get Kiki and that whole bridge sequence, that was awesome. That was great.
Vibranium versus vibranium. Yeah.
I really enjoyed that scene. I like it wasn't really an Easter egg, but I like that Atuma and Namora was in there as Namora's generals, and Atuma is a villain to Namor in the comics, so I'm excited to see how that transitions. I think at some point, whenever they make a Namor movie or whatever, Atuma is going to be the main villain. Jealous general that wants to be king. But yeah, that was a really cool fight scene. Since that fight scene, the whole reason for that was Riri Williams, aka Ironheart. I liked Ironheart. I liked her character. I thought she was cool. I didn't think she needed to be in this movie. I thought, in terms of the grand scheme of the plot, they didn't really need her.
Mm-mm.
It was,
but I understand they inserted her in. I was just saying, I understand they inserted her in.
Yeah, I'm with you, Alex.
Yeah, but you got.
I'm with you on that because of the fact that I felt I get the reason why she's there is for setup for Young Avengers and things like that. But is it the fact that we actually need her there, or is she just there just to be there? And she was just there just to be there as a way of saying, "Hey, look, Tony Stark. She's basically basically someone that was mentored through Tony Stark, who found inspiration through Tony Stark, who made her own technology." Well, you just basically push Sherry to the side, who does technology, for this other new character, so that way you can set up for something else. That's how I felt with it, even though that it was cool to see the armor, it was cool to see all that, but do we actually really need her? That's the main thing.
Yeah, I agree. I felt I kind of forgot about her for a minute, like she'd been kind of pushed to the background. And just them bringing her in because of the machine that she made, it was like an afterthought to me. How can we connect her to this story? Oh, let's say she made this machine and the professor. I got lost with that plot line, to be honest with you. I was trying to figure that out, and then they were moving on to something else, and I was like, can you explain that professor and who stole this and what? Whatnot. And I kind of agree with Charlie. Me and Charlie don't always agree. but I am agreeing with him tonight, which is strange. But I do agree with him. I'm just kidding, Charles. I do agree with him about need more, Namor. Um, like I guess for me personally, I felt that if they would have stayed with, you know, like Chadwick or T'Challa opened the world to the vibranium, and then they're gonna come after us underwater. Like if they focused in on that plot, I would have liked that. But they kind of touched on that, and then they had another plot and another plot and another plot, and then I was like, well, can we just do like Talakans or whatever their name is versus the Wakandans? Like, can we just focus on that? Like, I can kind of see that developing into something. But then I had to go to Riri and I had to figure her out. And then I had to figure out Shuri don't want to be queen. And then you got M'Baku, and then he wants to set himself up as the new king type. And then, you know, you got Okoye, she's not the general anymore. And then I kind of wanted to go back to that. But then you also got, I forgot her name with the kid, his kid. And I was like, well, it's a lot of plots going on. Here's a lot of moving pieces.
Lupita Nyong'o's character, I
Yeah,
forgot
there's a
her
lot of
name.
moving pieces going on. And I was like, can I just focus on
But
like,
subplots.
yeah, can I focus on like one or two? And that's why I kind of like Black Panther, the first one, a little bit better. Like maybe there were some more plots in it, but it felt more focused to me. And I know that they had a lot going on with Chadwick dying, and they had to just scrap everything and write a whole new script. And then you got COVID, and then you got politics going on, and people getting injured, and all this other stuff. But it was a lot for me to digest, is what I'm saying. And I just wanted it to be focused on like one or two plots or one subplot and a main plot. That's all
I agree. That's the big gripe I've had with this movie. This movie was way too long. Like 2 hours and 45 minutes. This could have been at least 20 minutes shorter. And then going on the points, there's so much stuff here or there, and they didn't. There was no closure on a lot of that stuff. Like there's like that. I mean, I think the one of the subplots that should definitely continue was bringing back Martin Freeman and bringing his character Ross back, because he was a pivotal character in the first Black Panther, and and I like this part because it sets up the next few movies with especially the Thunderbolts, because oh good knows he used to date the director Valentina, but my friends call me Val, but you're not allowed to call me Val. Like seeing her back, this lady's like, I was like, I had an oh shit moment in the theater. I was like, oh shit, here we go. This is what's setting up the next big couple ones, because she's gonna be the big vocal point. But like I said, I just like, again, this could have been 20 minutes shorter, but the pacing was just bad. I think for me personally, especially after the bridge sequence, everything just felt awkward at best. And I kept checking my watch because I kind of lost interest, because there's this really bad pacing and there's stuff in it. I know I get what Coogler is trying to do with this, but he crammed too many genres into this. Like we had a really serious dramatic moment. Okay, let's have some some comedic moments to kind of lighten it. I'm like, that doesn't work. For me, there was a couple moments where he's trying to cram a lot of stuff in and it didn't work. And it's just a really bad pacing for me personally.
Yeah, the pacing definitely had some issues. I honestly, I would have cut out the Agent Ross thing. Like I'm gonna be honest, I didn't care about him. It was just like, hey, we need at least one white guy in here. So I'm like, oh, you could have just thrown him out. Like his role wasn't that big for me in this movie, so he could have been gone, and then they could have cut out Riri Williams and just introduce her in a short or series or whatever. Like cut those parts out. The movie would have been like 2 hours. Yeah, do a post credit scene with Riri Williams. Like, I had like Ironheart's coming soon, something like that. Do that. But and that way this movie would have been like 2 hours 10 minutes, 2 hours 20 maybe at the longest. And like if they like good 30 minutes didn't need to be in here. They like just focus on Wakanda versus Talokan and Shuri taking up the mantle. Like that's the story we're here for, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. I almost forgot
And
about Ross. Go ahead, John.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely agree with Charlie. I did feel the runtime with this. I also felt like, you know, Riri should have been in a post-credit scene at the very end of this film. I also felt like you didn't do anything at all to have what's the character's name that you were bringing up, the agent name?
Ross.
Ross or Val.
Ross. I didn't feel like Ross was needed, but maybe that one little short time of giving the information over to the Wakandans, and that's it. You didn't need to have him in there anymore after that. You could set up everything else with the ex-wife and everything later on within another movie itself. For instance, you have the villain from the Captain America movie that's going to be coming out soon that they were hiding in Wakanda. You can actually have something going on with that and connect that into that kind of light over there. But you didn't really need to have, in my opinion, you didn't really need to have him. So therefore you can actually cut him out for about 10, 20 minutes of that film. Because all you did was arrest him and that was the end of it. And then you break him out and I was like, okay, the rescue didn't even felt like it was cheap. I felt like I didn't own that rescue mission at all. I didn't feel anything. Like, okay, well, they saved the white dude. Congratulations. That's what I felt like. So,
do you guys think that Ryan was pressed as well to introduce all these new characters for the upcoming TV series?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. That's the main problem.
That definitely wasn't I'm pretty positive that wasn't his decision to include Ironheart. That was just like, all right, you can do whatever you want with the script, but you have to include these characters to tease for these upcoming things, which is why it doesn't really fit. And that's movie studios doing what they do best and like taking over how movies are made. But yeah, that's all they were there for.
Mm-hmm.
All they were there for, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like the character Riri, and I think that's gonna be really cool. How intelligent she is, and all the stuff she's gonna be able to create. And I like that it's gonna set up armor wars and stuff like that. But I think a lot of the jokes she was coming off with, the comedic moments, I thought they were decent at first, but now they're kind of cringeworthy and kind of forced. So I'm like, yeah, just take her parts out, like just that, and then make it a more concrete movie because it was like on land, in water. And I'll get into the water aspects to that because I have some really big beef on that. But like back and forth. I'm like, can we just stick with one location? Back and forth. Like this movie's like jumping all over the place, and I'm like let's stick with one area, like one or two areas. We don't need all these subplots. We didn't need that. Like keep it concrete, and that's a lot of the stuff that Disney's or the Marvel movies in the past have been able to do. Concrete storyline with some other characters introduced, but they've done well. I didn't think they were done well in this one, to be honest.
Well, and I think the main problem is they need to stop focusing on the TV elements and start focusing back on what made them who they are, and basically make their movies for the big screen and not for the smaller screen anymore. And things like that. Stop trying to set up for stuff for a smaller TV screen. If you're going to try and do a smaller thing, bring in Ironheart in a smaller world and a smaller aspect into a TV universe. Don't try and cross her into something like Black Panther, where you actually have the passing of Chadwick Boseman, and you also have a big, huge, iconic character like Namor that you're trying to go after. It makes her character feel so small, and those characters are overshadowing her to the point where she's just basically just there for the sake of being there, where I feel like they should have just focused on her character on a smaller screen to where she can shine more. She would actually fit better in with Miss Marvel than she would with the Black Panther universe. That's just me and my thoughts on it. I think she would fit more in with Miss Marvel because Miss Marvel deals with technology. She's a kid. She's a mutant. She deals in with all that stuff. So I think that she would actually have more credibility, more connection with her in that kind of way. In retrospect, what do you guys think?
I agree. If you're gonna do it like what James Gunn's doing this Friday on Disney Plus, the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Do it
Oh,
something like that, which is a movie, not a TV show, and it's about like maybe 50 minutes, but it may not. Everybody's like, oh, this is a filler, all that's like, oh, it's not. If you want to know what's going to happen, like the setup for Guardians 3, you gotta watch this, and that's what James Gunn's doing in his last hurrah. Like, and I think I'm intrigued on that because we're getting the Guardians back, and it's setting up their big final movie in May. And again, that's I think that's the key thing. That's what you got to do, or do something like what they're going to do next year. I think right under either February or March in Secret Invasion, building that up and then having that as a TV show, and then that's going to lead into the other stuff. So like we're going to do it like introduce characters, do it in the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a big movie unless you can do it well. If you get something like the Russo brothers, or if they've incorporated characters and they built it in their story and it made sense, like get something like that, like not just cram them in there for the sake of cramming them in there.
yeah, because they with Kamala, they didn't introduce her on the big screen. They just kind of trusted us to introduce this new character to us, and I felt like they could have did that with Riri. They could have trusted us to, okay, this new Ironheart's coming soon to Disney Plus, and we would have been like, oh, what's that about? That's interesting, and then do a little special on Ironheart, like 20-minute special introducing her, and then just have her there. And they
Or
trusted us with
Well,
Kamala.
I also know too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I also know too that they're doing a Ironheart animated show too.
Oh, hmm.
So that's another thing they're doing, I believe. But I think still live action adaptation of Riri would actually be better because you have her as a live action adaptation character already. So why are you going to try and do an animated show based off her instead of introducing her into this kind of way?
Mhm.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
or what they did with Loki, introduce Kang.
Yeah.
Introduce Kang at the end of Loki season 1, and he's the big baddie going forward, especially with Quantumanium coming out. Like, do it like that, like small thing, and then release them to the world in the movie theaters.
Yeah, I feel like the TV shows should only complement the movies and not the other way around.
Yes.
Like either tease like something in the movies from the TV show, or it's okay to have the TV show characters be inserted into the movies, but only after we have them introduced. Like, don't introduce a character that's meant for a TV show in a movie. That's also been my gripe with the Marvel TV shows lately. I think they need to, like, all the new characters that they've been introducing, like Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, and now Ironheart. I personally think they should get their own solo movies first, and then all the side characters in the Marvel movies should be the ones getting TV shows. Like, they kind of did that, started doing that with Scarlet Vision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki. Those were more side characters that were put in the spotlight through the TV shows, but then and then they introduced new characters in the movie. You got Shang-Chi and all that. That was really cool. And I feel like a movie is better for introducing a newer character, but only if it's their own movie. So I feel like Ironheart's debut was kind of wasted here.
I mean, but they did do it well, though, with Bucky. They introduced Bucky well, like from the get-go. Falcon, they introduced him super well. Like, I mean, it's certain characters who just like really like bring it out, like Falcon, and like that's what you love about some of the TV shows. They can continue off when the movies like there was a lot at stake here with Falcon Winter Soldier because it was after the events of Endgame, and I think that's why like you said, movies like the TV shows got to complement the movies, and I totally agree on that.
Okay. Also, I want
to go on ahead, Alex.
Sorry, I don't mean to sidetrack things real quick, but I don't know if y'all saw on the internet, Marvel Studios cut Namor's bulge in that one scene where he was.
What?
Yeah, I saw
The
the
bulge
picture,
cut.
and apparently
Oh,
he's slanging in those shorts, but in the movie they cut it so you didn't notice. And I'm just like, they did the fans dirty.
man.
They would have made at least
Yeah.
300 more million
Yeah.
if
They did.
they left
Yeah.
the bulge.
They could have made a
And
special edition Manscaped
yeah.
for that. You know, they could have made a special edition Namor Manscaped for it.
Yep.
Mhm.
And
Look
you know,
short.
Charlie,
Trim
you
the
said
bulge a little
Aquaman
bit.
could.
You know,
You said
Short should have been
Aquaman could beat
shorter too.
Namor, not if they gave him the bulge. If
Mhm.
Namor had
I
that
know.
bulge,
I got.
Aquaman,
I mean, if you're going
Aquaman's
up,
just
sorry. I
he's
mean,
pulling that
Jason
thing out.
Momoa. Like,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, we're gonna go up against Jason Momoa. Not a chance.
Face
Like,
the sea serpent.
you just
Yeah.
had. You just had
Thank you.
Jason Momoa. Whatever he
Thank
was
you.
on
And it
him on the
sings too.
script. Like, I mean,
It
Jason
brings you
Momoa.
to your death.
Like, no, not a chance. Like,
Not against that
Yeah,
thing
I mean, they
slinging
both
around.
can
He's
fight each
choking him.
other for all I care in water, and I'd
I
be
mean,
happy.
Aquaman with a summer Shamu. Boom, end of
Yeah,
story.
they can fight each other. I'm fine with that in water.
Yeah, just get him in water. Maybe
Yeah,
have
throw
the
some
shirts
water on.
off
Yeah, take it off.
up close. They're both strong, so
Yeah,
they want to wrestle a little bit.
yeah. Let's see who's gonna win. Yeah,
Who has the bigger bulge?
yeah. It's like mud wrestling, but with water. Yeah, I want to see that, and I'd be the referee.
It will make that movie would make billions of
$4
dollars.
billion. 400.
400 billion. Huh?
So I was about to say, since you mentioned underwater, I wanted to go into the underwater
Yes, Charlie,
sequence.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Those were terrible looking.
he's like, I had enough of the bulge.
Like, I was watching that in the theater, and I was like, am I seeing this correctly? I can't see what is going on at all. The visuals were terrible for that, and at least for my opinion. Like, it looked blurry. It looked like it was a 3D movie, but it wasn't a 3D movie. The visuals were just incredibly dark, blurry. I couldn't see a thing. It was just terrible pictures, and I really started to lose my attention and my curiosity anytime it was underwater. And it was just like you couldn't pay attention to what's going on because you're just so distracted at how bad the screen looked or the visual effects. And it was like, I mean, come on, we're in 2022 and you can't find a better way to shoot underwater. Go ask James Wan to shoot underwater because Aquaman, it looked 10 times better than this. Or better yet, if you want some good underwater sequences, go get James Cameron. Like, for his Way of Water, Avatar, The Way of Water, that thing looks fantastic looking. Like, just get his camera, or if you want to shoot better water, I get it. They're brief, but it's those brief times underwater. You're like a lot of time spent underwater, and you can barely see what is going on. Like, you get distracted, and the sad thing is, the visuals just start to look kind of bad even after the water sequence. It was like when it was good, the visuals look cool. Yeah, it was really cool. But other times when you're watching it, I get distracted. I'm like, is this supposed to look like this? I don't know. I got really distracted about how bad the visuals are. And that was just the major gripe I had is like the first act was great up to the bridge. Awesome. Then the water happened. And then I got bored and I lost attention. It just drew me away. So anytime they were on land and it was really crystal clear, it was great. But anytime there was like really, it was like wherever else, it was really hard to see. And that was a disappointment because I was expecting more from the visuals. Because again, we're in 2022 and Wakanda is supposed to be vivid, bright, great looking, and this looked like just bad. And again, it lost my curiosity.
Or you could play devil's advocate and say how advanced Wakanda is on land. They had all this time with the vibranium and everything else. And then the Talakans, theirs is more grimy, and
I don't
they're
know.
like kind of still advancing themselves.
I can't really see that because it was bad all around.
That's all
The
right.
whole screen was blurry, like blurry in the background. Like you can't see what is going on. Not just in the water, but it was on land areas too. You're seeing blurriness, and I'm like, it was the middle of the big final fight scene, and there's blurriness in the back of it or whatever. And this is like like this was an IMAX theater, and I'm seeing blurry images for a visual movie. That's not how you want to do this. This is really distracts people, and it distracted me. And that, a lot of times I'm like, can we get out of this area now? Like the water, can we get out of the some of the certain lands? Let's like come on, it's 2022. You can shoot better than this.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm gonna be honest. The Namor and Sherry, where they wind up talking underneath the water, and that little set piece that they had with the Wakandans and stuff like that, it felt a little too small for me for a set piece like that. It should have been a lot more broader and a lot more wider for me, because it seemed like it was such a closed-in space to where they're talking. But I thought the underwater sequences, for me, they worked in my aspect of it, because that's how I would actually think the underwater sequences would be: dark, the abyss, things that you don't see. This is only also too why 96% of the water has actually been searched, and why the other percentage has not been found, because of how wide and how open the actual water itself is. So for me, seeing how dark the water actually is actually a realistic kind of aspect into how you would actually go into seeing something underwater. But as far as the kingdom goes, as far as Namor goes with his kingdom, it looked beautiful coming into it, being introduced into this world of where they go. For me, worked. It's just one little scene for me where Namor and Sherry's talking felt a little bit smaller in retrospect, where I was expecting maybe a lot more of a presence between them. It's like he's going. Basically, they met up at like a subway, and they're talking, because you see Namor, he's over there eating, and Sherry's just going over there, just go ahead and just talk to him. It felt like he was just in a sandwich shop. He goes, "Oh, by the way, guys, I gotta talk to Sherry. She's actually the princess of Wakanda. I'll be right back in a few minutes. By the way, go ahead and film out my cover with some Java, and I'll be right back. So this is very important, so go on ahead and leave my messages." That's what it felt like to me, like how small of the set piece actually was. I thought it would be a lot more. But that's just me coming off of it. But that's a little small nitpicky thing. But in other areas it worked. That's just how
Like,
I'm doing it.
I agree. The first part of it, when you first underwater in that sequence where the miners are trying to find the vibranium, and Brightburger's like, that looks cool. That was cool looking. When we got to the actual kingdom, that looked terrible. Like the visuals looked awful for that. Like you couldn't see, and there's people there, you could barely see their faces. I'm like, how are people living in this if you can't see a damn thing in this? Like again, it really started to piss me off because of how poorly shot this was. And the whole underwater sequence was poorly, like that part of it, the kingdom, and that the conversation was like, that was so like blurry. Like you could sneeze, and you can sneeze snot easily, not the screen. Like I don't know what they decided to do. Whoever decided to shot that, they need to like go watch some other movies where they shot underwater sequences. Like Aquaman in 2018, way better looking than this. Way better. Like that was 2018. 4 years, a 4-year difference. And then even, I mean, I want to say it, the new Avatar movie, that was 13 years. And yet 2022, that water visuals underwater, you can see everything. Like you see, it's vivid. You see everything. This one you couldn't see anything. Like if somebody got shot, you couldn't see that underwater.
Not shot. But maybe too, everything was such a rush, to get everything done with this movie.
And that's why you don't want to cram stuff, I guess.
Yeah, they were trying to also, I didn't have too much of an issue with it. I know they were trying to depict like how it was with the Mayans, but underwater, and in the Mayan culture, I guess there's a lot of dirt and clay. I'm showing my ignorance here, but maybe there's like a lot of dirt and clay and whatever. And I guess they wanted to emulate that underwater. But also, if I want to go further from a socio-economic aspect, which has nothing to do with this movie, perhaps the Atlanteans are economically more advanced. Like they have more money, so everything under there is like brighter. And then the Talocons, they don't have enough resources, and they're just now getting to work with vibranium and what it can do. And I could kind of see that contrast with the Wakandans. Like they found all these ways to use the vibranium, and that's why everything is so modern and advanced. And the Talocons is not that advanced. It's kind of like they're still in like a third world country type thing. But you go ahead, Alex.
I was just gonna say I liked the design of Talocan. I thought I loved the Mayan influence, but it was way too dark. Like I like just I know I think they were trying to be too realistic. Like, well, an underwater kingdom would be really dark because there's no natural light down there except for that weird sun thing that they had down there that they didn't really explain. But yeah, I was like, it's fine. You know, your king is a dude with wings on his ankles that help him fly. Like, it's okay if you just make the ocean brighter. Because I would have loved to have seen like full on ancient Mayan civilization underwater. Like that would have looked really cool. And from what I could see in the darkness, it looked cool. I liked how the people's skin changed back colors. Like when they're in their kingdom, they have regular brown skin, but then when they're exposed to the sunlight, I guess they turn blue. I don't know how that works, but I thought that aspect was cool. But it's just like just turn up the brightness because I really want to see what's happening.
That part wasn't really explained too well for me. The blue skin and then it goes back normal.
Yeah, I was just like, that was probably maybe probably not a mistake. Maybe they meant to include that in the story, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you guys think of the climax of the fight between Sherry and Namor? What did you guys think about the final blow that happens with them? I thought it was I thought it was actually okay, but I thought it could have been better handled on how you weakened him. Because I think they caught him way too fast. It's like, oh, Sherry's got him. Yay, okay. Spaceship picks him up, goes off to the beach, and then next thing you know, they have the confrontation, and then all of a sudden, oh no, spaceship explodes. Then out comes Sherry, out comes Namor, and they start fighting. I definitely like the fighting combat versus what happened in the ship. I thought when they're squaring off against each other, I thought that was really good. But other than that, I thought, even with whenever they have their own ship and they're taking over, I thought the stuff with the whales was pretty cool, seeing the oceanography with it and things like that. But as far as the whole entire deal where you actually have Namor in the spaceship with Sherry, it didn't really work that much. It looked like he was hitchhiking a ride just to get his ass kicked. But that's just me.
Hitchhiking a ride.
I thought it was cool because Namor is a very strong character. Like he messes up a lot of people. He jacked up Venom in the comics, like ripped out his tongue and all that stuff. It was crazy. The dude's a beast.
Wow.
So like the idea of like finding a way to weaken him made sense to me. It was just like, yeah, even like a Black Panther like will have a hard time against Namor. You need to knock that dude down a peg. So I thought that was really cool. And then the fight where they're on the beach, I thought that was pretty epic and gruesome. Like they were low down trying to kill each other for a while, especially when she like ripped off his wings on his ankle. Like I was like, ow, I don't have wings on my ankles, but I lightweight felt that. My only gripe with that final battle is just like, oh, well, one, they went out to the middle of the ocean. And I'm like, why would you do that? Like, if I was at war with an underwater kingdom, the last place I would want to fight them is in the middle of the ocean. Like, at the most, I would fight them on a beach. Like, at the most. But not in the middle of the ocean. And also, there was only like 7 or 8 Wakandans left at the end of the battle. And when it was like all over, they were like, Wakanda Forever, we won. It was just like, did you though? Like, there's only 80 of y'all left, and there's still hundreds of them. Like, Namor could just really just be like, and then kill them all, and then they're all dead. So I was like, that didn't seem like a win for me. So maybe like a change of location and maybe show some heavy casualties on both sides would have made it more impactful. But the fight between Shuri and Namor, I thought that was cool. I thought there was a lot of emotion into it. You can feel the intensity. I liked it when Namor said Imperious Rex. That got my geeky side all juiced up, and then she lit him on fire. And I'm like, oh, that will do it. Not sure. Shooting him with a rocket thrust, that will do it.
Yeah. I thought that there was a lot of pulled punches. Like I wanted it more gruesome. But I think too, Letitia, I'm mispronouncing her name. Yeah, her name. I think didn't she dislocate her shoulder? I know she got injured.
It was the bridge sequence.
Yeah.
I think it was the bridge sequence where she was flying in the air and hit face first to the on the concrete. That was where she got knocked out.
Oh wow!
On that scene of the bridge where she was flying and then she crashed and then she was like knocked out for a little while. That's where she got hurt. It was that scene, I believe, and I think she might have hurt her shoulder there.
But yeah, I just thought that it could have been more gruesome, like with Black Panther, like T'Challa and Killmonger, how they were battling each other. I felt all of that, and I was like, oh my god, ooh, this is terrible. I don't know why I was like, this is good, but it could be a smidget more better. Like if I'm gonna have a female Black Panther, I want her to just fight like a dude, and she was kind of fighting like a chick.
Be fierce
with claws, and I was like, you need to punch him in the face. And like, yeah, she ripped his wings out. That was good, but I wanted some more of that gritty street fight, because this, I don't know when I'm gonna get another female Black Panther. So you're gonna have to bring it some more for me. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, Charlie.
The fight was okay. It was gruesome when she got stabbed. The whole theater screamed like, "Oh no!" Like
no blood, but
I agree. Like if she's gonna be taking on the man of Black Panther, I get it. You gotta learn how to like throw some better punches, like not just rare, like not with the claws. You need to hit him low, hit him high. Like you need to start like that. I'm like, go for the kill. Don't go like, oh.
Well, don't forget, there was no training montage either with her either.
No,
there's no training involved,
and that's why I thought it was
that was also.
I agree, John. Like there was no training montage, but still, like they could have shown her something like learning to fight from her brother. If they really wanted to bring that aspect, like have her like memories of her fighting with like T'Challa or something like that, because like. Yeah, you won this fight, but did you win? I don't think you did. Like, you kind of let him live, and he's going to betray you. Like, and again, I thought, like, again, the reveal of she was the Black Panther, I thought it was kind of anticlimactic because we kind of all knew it was going to be her.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of lost the effect. I was kind of hoping it was somebody else. I mean, I would have loved to see Angela Bassett in that suit. The Queen in the Black Panther suit fighting. That would have been cool. I just don't think Shuri has it. Like, yeah, you barely beat Namor. Keyword is barely. Like, you barely beat him. Like, when you deal with other guys like Kane the Conqueror, there's no way you're going to do whatever you just did against Namor. You can't do that against Kane or these other villains coming up. Like, there's no way you're going to be able to do that. Like, I think she needs to learn, like, again, like, train, maybe get better. But I agree, Alex, like, the whole like, yeah, we won. It was only 8 of them. I was like, most of them got washed away when Namor attacked the city. Like most of them got washed away. So of course there's not many Wakandans, and I agree. Yeah, let's like, you know what? Here's how we're gonna win. All right, guys. All right, we're gonna fight in the ocean. But they're in the ocean. Doesn't matter. We're fighting in the ocean. Like, let's just do it in the ocean. I'm like, okay, like I think that wasn't really a smart move because that's where they're powerful. So I don't think there was really a lot of planning. I get they're trying to keep them away from Wakanda, but do you really want to fight them in the ocean? I thought that was kind of not a good game plan. They're lucky it won and it worked out for them. But there's many opportunities. They could have fumbled that one away big time, and they will definitely. And then boom, end of movie. Wakanda's lost. Like I think there could have been a better way to do that, but they did it and they won barely.
Also, I guess it shows Shuri's inexperience too, because when she was fighting him, she was fighting on emotion,
Oh yeah,
know, and she just kind of dug in and was like, "Oh, we're gonna do this," and some people were like, "I don't know about that," and she was like, "Nah, we're gonna do it." And they're like, "Okay, you are the next Black Panther." I guess that happened because not Killmonger, M'Baku was like, "I don't know, this is a good idea," and she was like,
we're
"Nah, we're
doing it.
gonna do it. I'm the Black Panther. I say we're gonna do it." And he's like, "Okay, I
Like sit
guess."
down and shut up. And I was like, okay, like that. I agree. That's like the inexperience coming out. Like, and that's why it's not like give it to somebody that's actually have the battle experience. Like I get it. She was just in it because she had to protect Wakanda's because it was like next man up. But still, going forward, I don't think it should be her as the Black Panther. And then that I could like it should be maybe no, it won't be one of the leaders of the warriors. Wouldn't be that. Maybe the one that has Chadwick's son or T'Challa's son. I could see her.
Well,
She could be good in the suit or whatever. I don't know.
Because in the comics, she was trained by T'Challa, and also in the BET Black Panther animated series, there was training sequences with her just preparing for the role as Black Panther. So, like we were saying earlier, they would have cut some of these scenes out and just had a flashback scene where those two were it was kind of hard to do that because he's dead.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just her training with Denai or one of the generals, like this is how you fight, blah 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 blah, you know. But yeah, go ahead, John.
Go ahead, Alex.
Oh,
go
I was
ahead,
just
Alex.
sorry. I wasn't really bothered by a training montage for her. I'm just like, oh, I just assumed she knew how to fight because she's part of the royal family, and one of the customs is, oh, you might, hey, if you become the crowned king or queen, you might have to fight someone to the death for it. So it's just I just assumed they all knew how to fight, and then but if she had no training, then I would say she's on equal ground with Namor because we ain't seen him train either in the movie. He was just a little kid, and all of a sudden he can fly. He knows how to fly and burn down an entire settlement of Spaniard colonists and all that. I'm just like, we ain't seen him train, so like neither of them apparently know how to fight by those standards. So I'm just like, well, whatever. But did anyone else get goosebumps when she scratched his back and just left claw marks? Just because I only bring that up because when I was in the theater, when I was in the theater watching it, like, and that happened, she like clawed his back. I heard this lady sitting behind me go, lucky girl. and that made me laugh. And I'm just like, dang, this movie's been out for only a week. People are already thirsting hard for Namor. I respect it. Sorry. I just get addicted to thirst traps in movies, and it's just fun to talk about. I think that's a good selling point. But yeah, I didn't care about the training thing. That's a thing in superhero movies that I just like. I don't necessarily need. I'm like, the dude has wings on his ankles. There's people have Infinity Stones. I don't care.
Well, the reason why I asked about the training montage thing is because of the fact where basically Angela Bassett's character winds up telling Shuri that all she does is fool around with her technology. So because all she does is her technology work, it made me think, well, okay then. So therefore she doesn't have the training ability or anything like that because of the fact that she's so enthused into her own technology to the point where she can't fight without her technology. Without her technology, she's defenseless. So that's why I was bringing up the training montage, was because of the fact that she's not been trained by anybody to be able to take down anybody because she relies solely on technology and not anything else but her tech. That's how I was viewing it as to how messy the fight was. Right.
Yeah.
But
Right.
she did take down some people in the first Black Panther movie in that final battle sequence. There, she did take some people. So I was like,
I guess
She's been in scuffles.
in a way,
She
maybe
been in
the
scuffles.
suit it enhances. Maybe it like automatically like, oh, wow, you can fight with all that enhanced super strength. But I guess I was thinking about the comics since Ryan Coogler is a big comic nerd. Then in the comic, she was trained by T'Challa, but like I said, Chadwick died. But ideally, it would have been nice if we're setting it up and he was still living. That we mimic the comics where she was trained by him, and then he's like, "Oh, one day something will happen to me, and you have to take the mantle." But this is just me being idealistic.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, one last thing before we actually close out too is this. I thought that when you have that last moment of silence in the theater for Chadwick, I was crying with Sherry. I mean, I was crying again because of the fact of that quietness and her being sad over her brother's loss, things like that. That part for me worked. And,
Mm.
I just felt the pain and the agony of losing someone close to you. And, I just thought that was actually a good way to close it with knowing, hey, look, it's going to be okay. You have your brother's, you're now basically an aunt. And now he's going to carry on T'Challa's legacy and living through him. So I thought that was a perfect way of actually doing things. So
They have a
I
good
thought the ending was perfect. It's just, the subplots.
yeah, they have a good message about grief, because throughout she was avoiding grief because her mom wanted her to do the ceremony. And she was doubting her faith, right? And that's when she met Killmonger, and he was like, "Because you doubted your faith, I'm your subconscious now," stuff like that. And then there's a full circle moment, like you were talking about. She finally faces her grief and says, "My brother's gone, and I'm going to sit and feel." But like you were saying, my nephew is going to take over, and he's the next generation. So this is kind of like a completion of the circle. Anybody
I'm,
else can go.
I'm not gonna lie that I loved the scenes where it was completely silent. I think silence speaks louder than words sometimes, and those scenes that was definitely the case. I felt like I was in Shuri's mind. Like they didn't need to say anything. I was so connected to the characters in those moments during these scenes where it was silent. I thought that was really powerful. It really lets you just sit there. Like this is one of the few Marvel movies that gives you uh, a strong emotion like sadness, grief, and it just lets you sit with it instead of immediately cutting it off with a joke. Like this movie actually just lets you sit with it and lets you like kind of grieve through it. Like you're with Shuri on this grieving process, like because you don't want to believe it either the entire movie, but when she finally lets go, that's or not let's go, but like just allows herself to feel like that. Such a beautiful moment. And then when Nakia starts walking up with that little boy, I immediately knew who that little boy was, and I just started crying so hard. It took like 30 minutes for me to calm down after that. And then when he said his name was Prince T'Challa, oh man, I was like, they did recast him, just in a different way. I was like, all right, we'll see him in like 3-4 years because kids grow up so quickly.
Very
And
fast.
we're gonna have 2 Black Panthers and like all that. It's just gonna be such a good time. I'm excited. I
Yeah.
love this movie.
I mean, I thought that was a cool scene. It was nice that I know a lot of people kept teasing, oh, look, stayed to the very end of the credits for another scene, and there was nothing, and everybody in the theater, I'm like, come on. Like, people were telling us there's something at the end of the credits, and like, nope, not that part. like overall, I thought it was decent. I mean, despite its many flaws I had with it, I liked this better than the first Black Panther because I was not impressed.
No.
I like this one. I liked aspects of it. However, for me, this is like a one-time watch. Like I'm only gonna watch this once, and that's really all I need to see of it. I like the last two Marvel movies better, to be honest. I had more fun with Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. That one was fun. Yeah, you guys can look at me all you want. I don't care.
I don't know why, but
Wakanda for me it's an honorable mention at best. I had more fun with Multiverse of Madness, and I'm like, it was a really entertaining horror flick. Yeah, you heard me right. I liked the horror movie. I had fun with Doctor Strange. That's why that's my favorite movie out of the MCU right now in this current phase. That, and I had a hell of a fun time with Thor and the Love and Thunder. I had more fun with those two. This one was okay. It was decent. A 7 out of 10, but I'm not going to go buy this one. It's not something I want to watch again. Like when I was doing my binge before Thor or if the Thor, I skipped over Black Panther or did that because it just I don't own it and it just doesn't really. It's just there for me, and like again, I liked aspects of this. They're just trying too much. They crammed too much in it. Those visuals were just bad. But just overall, I just had more fun with the last two Marvel movies. That's why they're ranked higher, and that's why they might be in my top 10. This one will be an honorable mention, but that's about it. I mean, I don't have it any higher, any lower.
Yeah, I agree with the honorable mention part. But the Black Panther, I like the first one a little bit better. Everything seemed more fleshed out, even though Ryan said that he felt so much pressure to bring him to the big screen. It felt more fleshed out, and there's some breathing room there. And this one, you can't really breathe too much. It feels a little bit claustrophobic to me. Um, Personally, I had a bad theater experience, so I need to see it again.
That'll do it.
But it still won't change my mind. But I just need a better experience, theater wise.
So there you have it. So first off, I want to tell Alex congratulations on his 500 subscribers.
Yay!
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And you're very welcome, man. You earned it. You're doing great on your channel. Big congratulations to you. I even told your wife, I say, tell him to go pop bottles, but I'm not responsible for anything that happens to him later on. So,
pop all the bottles.
But we also have another little announcement too. Alex and I both do. We're actually going to be. No, we're not going to be getting married. No, it's not. But no, we actually have.
Plot twist. I'm like 2 wedding rings on both your fingers. Oh my god!
My wife is watching this. Like, excuse me.
No,
that's the right finger. Then you have that ring on that one. And like this is Alex's finger, and this is.
He went to Jared.
Yeah. Went to Jared for this one, and then he went to Dale's for this
one. And then Kate for the other one. Okay. But we're actually going to be interviewing Mr. Coleman Domingo from the Fear the Walking Dead TV series, who's also played in the recent Candyman movie. And we actually had the honor to be able to review his short film, New Moon. Mr. Domingo will be on our channel at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time on that day, on that night. So go on ahead, tune in for that. Just go on ahead, smash that little subscribe button too. Also, smash that little bell in the bottom right-hand corner, allow you guys know when we have something new. But Mr. Coleman Domingo will be on the show doing a Q&A as well with our guests, with our fans and everything. So he's going to be doing that the next day. The audio-only episode will actually drop for that episode. So if you missed out, you got to listen to it the next day. So that's something that we're very happy to be able to do. And it's an honor and a privilege to be able to do what we're doing and to know that we're interviewing somebody that is in that caliber of great actor. What about you, Alex?
Y'all ready? Y'all ready for it?
November
I'm
22nd is
nervous.
Tuesday. It's coming up.
Yeah, y'all ready?
I was
Yes.
sitting here earlier and
Ready.
I'm like, oh yeah, our interview's Tuesday. Oh
Yep.
damn, it's Saturday.
Uh-huh.
Nah, nerves are
Yeah.
coming in, but I think it's going to be a great time. I've watched a few interviews and I've seen a few of his movies, and he seems like a really awesome guy. I can't wait to interview him. It's going to be amazing.
Me too. It is. It's going to be a fun time. I hope that everyone winds up watching this. I hope everyone loves our interview that we are going to do with Mr. Domingo. So that's going to be it as far as this goes. Visit Alex at A-Town Reviews. He does a fantastic job over there. Of course, I did a Johnny Depp reaction video of some of my favorite scenes in the Johnny Depp video. Did that, and also too, Charlie and I just recently did our top 10. Well, my top 10, his top 8. Best and worst Johnny Depp movies. So go ahead and check that out on our channel. And always until next time, guys. It's been real. It's been fun. Thank you again, Tomeka, for joining us. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate everyone that was able to make it. Will couldn't make it tonight or anything like that. He had some other stuff that happened at like the last minute. But keep him in your thoughts. And always until next time, guys.